Hello lovely people, welcome back to another video. I'm very excited about today's video because this is something that I've been wanting to do for a rather long time and I have now decided to go for it. I have a fun TBR put together, I'm very excited to share it with you. This is going to be me reading books inspired by Greek mythology. I have attempted to sit myself in front of my mythology shelf, but my plants have kind of taken over the space. I rearranged my plants so this one could get a bit more light because the sun is coming in from there. So yes, they've kind of taken over the shelf, but through there is my mythology shelf. It's there, I promise. Before I go over my TBR for this video, I do actually have a sponsor for this video, so I wanted to tell you a little bit about that first. So this video is sponsored by Hotkey Books, who have 4 fantastic books here that I want to tell you a little bit about. So these are the 4 books that I'm going to be telling you about today. There are links in the description below to all of these books to either order or pre-order in the case of Princess of Souls, which isn't out until October this year. So we have got When Women Were Dragons by Kelly Barnhill. This is a fantastic historical fantasy following a young girl whose mum turns into a dragon during a mass dragoning event in which lots and lots of women across the country in America turned into dragons and just flew away and left society. This follows our main character as she ages up in a society in which women are still just turning into dragons and leaving, and how society has changed, how families have changed, and how everyone has adapted to this very, very strange series of events that's happened. It's a really unique feminist fantasy and I really enjoyed it. Then we have Daughter of Darkness by Catherine and Elizabeth Core. This follows our main character who works for Hades, bringing him souls to the underworld. She hates doing it, she wants to escape, so she decides to take up a mission from Orpheus to try and retrieve his dead wife and bring her back to life. She teams up with a group of people to try and save Orpheus's wife. It sounds like a lot of fun. I'm really excited to read this one. I will be talking about this one a little bit more later on in the video. Then we have Waking the Witch by Rachel Burge. This is a Welsh mythology and Arthurian legend inspired story following a young girl who is searching for her mother. She ends up in Wales and discovers that there is actually this very dark, sinister power that is following her around, and the only way to fight for her survival is to tap deeper into herself. This is all about truths and what to really believe and how everything is not as it seems. It's a very dark, haunting type of tale. If you've read Rachel Burge's writing before, I think you'll grasp what kind of atmosphere this is going to be. And then we have Princess of Souls by Alexandra Christo. I read To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandra Christo in 2018. I was in Catalonia at the time and I was sat right by the ocean, and the book is very sea-based and it was so cool to be able to read it and be able to look out into the ocean at the same time. So Princess of Souls sounds really interesting. This follows 2 main characters, one of which is an heir to a magic system and she works for the king to bring him souls to maintain his immortality. We also follow somebody who is determined to kill the king and everyone who works for him and claim his immortality for himself. So these 2 are kind of going to clash a little bit, and then Death ends up trying to chase both of them, so they have to team up to try and get around this dark fate. So these are the 4 books that I'm working on the promotion with Hotkey Books for. If you want to buy any of these or pre-order, you can find all the links down below in the description. So when I looked at the list of books that I was working on for this promotion, I decided that off the back of that I wanted to create this Greek mythology reading vlog because of Daughter of Darkness. This sounds really fun. It's inspired by ancient Greek mythology. I love the idea of this group of people coming together. We have a scholar, a singer, and a thief, and a fighter, and it just sounds like a really good combination of people. I feel like there's going to be some good banter going on in there as well that I'm looking forward to reading. I enjoy how characters bounce off of each other, and usually they end up being quite funny situations in dark times, so I'm hoping that that is where this goes. So this is one of the books on my TBR for this video. I will also be getting to Lore Olympus Volume 2. This one arrived with me a couple of weeks ago and I've been wanting to read it ever since. This is by Rachel Smythe. I'm so excited to be reading Volume 2. I loved Volume 1, the illustration is gorgeous and I really enjoyed the use of colours depending on the characters here as well, so I'm looking forward to reading this. This is a love story between Hades and Persephone and I am excited to jump back in. And the final book on my TBR, if you've watched my fictionary TBR you may know where I'm going with this. I'm going to be reading Circe by Madeline Miller. I have had this on my TBR forever. I've had this on for so long and I am so excited to finally be reading this book because I keep saying I'm going to, but I am actually going to. This follows Circe, who has been banished by Zeus for casting a very dark spell, and this is a tale of her survival. I have heard only good things about this. I am really excited to give it a go. I am daunted, but I'm ready to read it. So this is my Greek mythology inspired TBR for this video. I am very, very excited to get to these books. I really hope you enjoy this video, and I will update you when I start my first book. Hello, it is currently Sunday and I have started my first book for this vlog. I have started Circe, started yesterday. I am currently 72 pages in and I am really enjoying this book. I have been very daunted to pick this book up for a long time. I've read The Song of Achilles by the same author and I liked that, but I didn't absolutely love it, and it obviously has a lot of hype. This also has a lot of hype, so I was very wary picking this one up, that I was worried that for me the hype was going to make it too overly hyped for me. However, so far I'm very happy to say that I am really enjoying this. I'm really enjoying getting to know Circe, finding out more about her character. I'm intrigued to see how she is going to develop the plot along and how she's going to develop as a character as well, because I feel like she has a lot of room for growth at the moment. I had this preconception for this book that it was going to be kind of slow paced with quite heavy writing style and a lot of heavy descriptions, and whilst there are very beautiful descriptions, the pacing is not slow at all. Like, we have had so much happen in the first 70 pages and I'm just loving it. One of the things I'm really enjoying about the description is the attention to detail that just helps to paint the world even wider, such as things like smells. There's quite a lot mentioned around smells, which I'm really enjoying. So generally, so far, I am really liking this book, which I'm so relieved about because I really worried I would find it a slog to pick up. But no, it's definitely living up to the hype so far, but I am only under 100 pages, so obviously there is a lot still to happen, but I really like the direction the story's going in. I'm intrigued to see how Circe grows and develops as a character, and I'm really excited to read more from this setting because we've just changed location in the setting and we're just being introduced to this new area that I'm really excited to see how that's built out and developed, because already the descriptions for that are amazing. There is one line that I literally just read that I just thought was so lovely. I think this needs to be on like a quote with a beautiful forest background. It says, "I stepped into those woods and my life began." I just love that. I think that's a really nice line. So yes, good thoughts so far, which I'm really pleased about. I will of course keep you posted as I read more. Today I'm off to Bristol, so I'll include a little bit of that in this vlog as well, and I hope you're enjoying the video so far.
There is a life I lead in this city, hurrying to cut my teeth. I can take what I need to get by. It doesn't make it easy. The other piece of my heart moves slow, somewhere in the great unknown. When I return from the afterglow, will you carry me like I am whole again? Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone. Wait, hold on, put me together, take me back where I belong. I want it all. I had a feeling, but the feeling is all gone.
Good evening, I am back from Bristol. It has been an incredibly warm day today. We're in the middle of a heat wave, so it was pretty hot there. However, we went into lots of shops with aircon, which was excellent. We sat under the cathedral and had some lunch in the shade, which was really nice. It was a really lovely afternoon. I got a couple of bits. I wanted to show you what they were because I did an art haul in my recent London vlog and you all said you really enjoyed it. So thought I would do another little art haul because we went into Cass Art, which is this really lovely art shop. I have seen it before in London and not gone in. And there was one in Bristol and we went in. There was so many different things to choose from. There was a whole craft and kids type of floor that Ava really enjoyed. And then there was a whole section of pens and pencils, watercolours, so many different things. So I got a couple more bits. I am slowly building up my art collection back up again. I did have loads of stuff from when I used to do art as a teenager and I just don't know where that stuff has gone. I've got a couple of bits, but I don't know where the large amount of it is, so I'm slowly building that back up again, but I thought I would give you a little haul. The first thing I got is these Tombow pens. I picked up some Tombow pens in London recently and have been loving using them. They are so nice to use. I do already have other brush pens as well, so I'm using them all together, but the Tombow ones are so nice and the colours are beautiful. And I saw these ones and they had a sale on of all of the Tombow pens. and they were making them way cheaper than the retail price normally is, so I thought I would utilise that. And I got these pastel colours just so I had something that was kind of a softer tone as well. So these are the first things that I bought. Slightly less exciting, but I also have some Winsor & Newton fine liner pens. These are for me to use with watercolours. I do have some at the moment that aren't really watercolour friendly, so I wanted to get these ones so I could use them with watercolours as well and they wouldn't fade as much. So yeah, not quite as exciting, but very satisfying in their packaging. I'm enjoying the minimalism here. Also, I'm trying to build up my colouring pencil collection so I have all of the colours I could need, so I picked up a couple more to go with that. So I just got these ones here, pinks, greens, purples and greys. And these are all Faber-&-Castell's watercolour collection that has a name that I cannot remember. Albrecht Dürer Faber-&-Castell watercolour pencils. And I also got this little mechanical pencil from Faber-&-Castell as well. I was drawing yesterday with my graphite pencil and I needed to do some more fine detail and couldn't quite get into the gap that I needed to. So I picked up this pencil to be able to have a little bit of a finer detail. So yes, this is my little pencil haul. I also picked up an A4 mixed media sketch pad. This can be used with multiple different types of media, so it can be used with watercolour paints, it can be used with pencil, with pens, and hopefully it shouldn't bleed through the page. I have smaller sketchbooks on the go at the moment, but I wanted something a little bit bigger because I also got myself this book. So I wanted to pick up a guide in some way of drawing because I want to be able to create my own character, and I can draw things like houses, and I could draw settings and places and nature and trees and plants is the kind of things that I like drawing, but I'm not too hot on drawing people. So I want to be able to create my own characters and draw them. I don't necessarily want them to be in an anime or a manga style. However, I was looking through this manga drawing book and the guides it gives are just kind of general like postures and stances and things, and just generally teach you how to think about the way that you're setting up people with hairstyles, and I don't know if you're going to really be able to tell that, but like facial positioning, facial features, facial shapes, like just generally things like that I thought would be really useful. So whilst it might not necessarily be exactly the style that I'm going for, I think it's going to have the concept there. So picked this up and then got this to be able to practice from this. So that is my little art haul. I also did go into a really lovely plant shop. This is the bag, this is the brand. It's called Mila Plants, Homeware and Lifestyle. It was so nice in there. There was such lovely quality plants, like all of the plants looked so healthy. They were just, you could just tell there was a lot of care put into them, and there was also a couple of indie seller stalls in there as well. So I got a plant, because of course I did. I got this plant, which I love. I love when plants are a bit more unruly and grow to become more unruly, so this one should, I think, hang down. I do have a mustard pot wrapped up here, but it's in tissue paper at the moment to protect it because I am at my family home at the moment, so I'll be driving back home later today. But I love this plant, it's so cool. I have no idea what it actually is. Hang on, does it tell me? A sedum burrito. There we go. But there was also some indie seller stalls, as I said, so I splurged a little bit when I probably shouldn't, but I saw these earrings and I had to have them because my monstera is my biggest plant and just my kind of centerpiece of my lounge, and these beautiful earrings were at the front by the till and I just love them. They're resin with little parts of a flower in them, parts of a plant in them, and I just thought they were so, so beautiful. These are from the seller Paige Alexander. I also really treated myself here with this very tiny stud pair of monstera leaves as well. These are from the seller Plant Dosage, and these are quite unique to the person that was selling these in this plant shop. I just thought they're so beautiful. They're stainless steel. I have multiple piercings going up the side of my ear that I like to have studs in, so I thought I would get them because I don't often buy new studs. I tend to just kind of keep the same ones in all the time, so these will be quite nice to layer up my ear, which I'm really excited about. And they kind of, whilst they're different colour metals, they kind of work together with this theme that I have going on. So that is my little art slash plant haul. I hope you enjoyed that. I know it has, again, nothing to do with books, but last time you guys seemed to quite like it, so I thought I would share again. Reading wise, I have surpassed the 100 page mark with Circe, and I'm still really liking this. I don't know what direction this is taking in the slightest, so I am really excited to keep reading this and see where it goes. I love the writing. It's absolutely beautiful. Everything seems incredibly quotable and memorable. It just feels like it paints such a strong picture. I love the fact that in the front of the hardback we've got the map as well of the island that Circe is on. I just think that helps so much to visualize it, even though it's obviously just a map view. It does kind of lay it out a little bit more, and I really like that as an added feature. So yes, I am really enjoying this. I'm so glad I have finally picked it up. I think this was the right time for me to pick this up. I think if I'd picked it up earlier, not to say that I wouldn't have enjoyed it, but I think that my reading tastes are constantly changing. They're constantly evolving. The things that I like in books is constantly changing, and I think right now This is a really good time for me to be reading Circe, so of course I will keep you posted as I go, heading back to my flat tonight, and we'll continue reading more of this book. Hi, it's me again. I also got these glasses and I forgot to haul them. We went into a couple of vintage shops and we went into this one that I cannot remember the name of, but it was so cool. So many different cool items in there. There was loads of cool clothes, some pins, jewellery, some glasses. So I picked up these sunglasses. They're a similar frame to one of my prescription glasses. So I really like the frame. I like how lightweight they are. I haven't bought new sunglasses in the longest time. So I'm really glad that I got these because I think they're really funky and I like them a lot. But yes, I forgot to include them in the haul. So consider them included. Hello, it has been a hot minute since I have updated you on Circe. I have honestly not read much over the last few days of this because I've been really busy with other things. So I've probably read collectively about 20 to 30 pages, which really isn't much. Maybe 30 to 50, let's say that. I am still really liking this, but I'm just about to start some Patreon sprints and read as much of this as I can tonight. I have this much left, so I'm just nearing the halfway point. I love it. I love the writing style. I love the story development. Really excited to see where it goes. I'm going to jump on sprints and read some more. Good evening. It is nearly 11 o'clock. I have just got off Patreon sprints and I have read quite a decent amount of Circe. I have about 120 pages or so left. I love this book. I am kicking myself for not reading this sooner, but at the same time I think maybe if I'd have read it sooner it wouldn't have been the right time for me to read it, and I'm a firm believer in there is a right and wrong time to read certain books, and I definitely think that I can see that's evident in my own reading at certain points of different kind of books that I fancy reading and different genres I dip in and out of. I love the way that Circe involves all the other Greek mythology stories and the gods, the goddesses, the titans. I think it's done in a really clever way and it just feels exciting every time you get a new story woven into the thread of this plot. I love how it's done. Really enjoying it, and I'm really glad that I've picked it up for this video. I've also started listening to the audiobook for Daughter of Darkness by Catherine Elizabeth Kaur, so I'm really enjoying this one so far. I started it this morning or yesterday evening. I started at some point, but properly started listening to it whilst I was doing some drawing on Patreon sprints because I wanted to be able to be actively doing something whilst also listening to a story, because I don't know why, but tonight I felt really jittery. I felt like I've had a lot of stuff floating about in my head and I just needed to occupy every element of my brain this evening, so drawing whilst listening to an audiobook has really helped there. But so far I really like the kind of dark, dreary element to the story that we have going on. The main character is in a very crap situation that she's trying to get herself out of, but also there's a lot of mention of feminist themes and of her being a woman in the position she is and what that means, and I really like that side of it as well. So I'm not too far in. I've listened to, well, we had two 45-minute sprints that I listened to that on. I read for the other two 45-minute sprints, I read Circe. So I've listened, I probably have collectively maybe listened to around 3 hours with what I'd listened to before sprints as well. So I'm liking it so far. We've just got the group of people together that is going to form the group that I'm excited to see the kind of the way they interact with each other. I said when I was reading the blurb for this book that I really hope there was some kind of banterous-esque humorous relationships there, so I'm intrigued to see if it does go down that route. I will of course keep you posted with my thoughts as I continue to read it. I'm gonna go get ready for bed now, but that is my little evening of reading. Sorry if the footage that I just showed you was a little bit out of focus, by the way, or dipping in and out of focus. It's not the best lighting at this time in the evening and I'm pretty much just sat in front of candles and lit with fairy lights, so yeah, sorry if the focus dipped in and out. Hello, it is currently Saturday. It is currently 1:51 in the afternoon and my goal for today is to finish Circe. I'm actually on some reading sprints at the moment. I'm hosting some public sprints to be able to hold me accountable to finish this book. I still have around 100 pages left of this book, but I am absolutely loving it. I didn't really read much yesterday because I was at a work summer party. So it started at 9:30 and I think I got back to the hotel at about 1 in the morning, 1:30. So it was quite a long day. I did read a page and a half when I got back to the hotel. But yeah, it was a really, really long day. So I didn't really get a chance to read much. I did listen to a little bit of Daughter of Darkness on my way to and from the hotel and the venue, so I was able to get a little bit of my audiobook read but none of Circe. So I want to be able to finish Circe today and just see how this story wraps up. I'm really enjoying it. I feel like I'm getting multiple stories in one story for this, so I'm loving this. I'm really glad that the daunting hype of this hasn't got to me with it, because like obviously it did get to me in terms of how long it took me to pick it up, but now I am really enjoying it, so I'm really, really pleased with that. Daughter of Darkness, I am really enjoying the audiobook for. I like, as the name would suggest, that it does go into the darker elements of some of these stories and then we see the underworld and the different types of threats that surround our characters there. I also like that the characters clash with each other quite a lot. Like I was, as I've said, kind of hoping for some kind of banter-esque situation, but it's more like this kind of morally grey dislike of each other, which I'm quite enjoying. So yeah, really enjoying that. So whenever I finish Circe, I will probably then listen to the audiobook whilst doing some drawing for Daughter of Darkness. I also have Lore Olympus Volume 2 to get to as well, but that won't take me too long to read. I love that style. I'm really excited to read that one. That one's like my chill one for later on in the day, I think, because I'm gradually getting more and more tired. I woke up every hour in the hotel I was staying at last night because it was on a main road and there were so many drunk people walking past. I'm a little bit tired, but I'm going to finish this book. I'm going to at least start Lore Olympus today and like read a little bit more of Daughter of Darkness. I don't think I'm going to finish Daughter of Darkness, but I am driving back to my family home tomorrow for my stepdad's birthday, so I will listen to the audiobook in the car as well, and then in the car on the way back. So I definitely will be able to finish all of these books within the week, but this is my priority. So I'm gonna go rejoin my sprints now and read some Circe. Hello, I have reading updates. I have finished reading Circe. I have done about 4.5 hours of live reading sprints today, and I have been able to read a lot in that time. So I have finished Circe. Did it come out as 4 or 4.5? I think it came out as 4.5, this one. I really liked this. I definitely preferred the start to the end, but I loved the way that we saw these fragments of Circe's life unravel. I loved the way that we got other stories told within this. The writing was beautiful. The whole island that she lives on and just every description there is just stunning and very visual. There's a real appreciation for nature, I think, in the writing in this book, and seasons, and just the way that everything feels and smells as well, which I loved. I think that it was definitely, as I said, the right time to read this one, and I am so glad I enjoyed it. I loved seeing Circe's empowerment because I think that it was a struggle for her to certainly get to where she was, and she certainly was mistreated in massive ways throughout her journey. And I think still at the end she doesn't have always the fairest outcome for her, and there's always this struggle. And I love that we see that represented throughout the whole book, and that we see her as this strong woman throughout that gets pushed and pulled in all these directions and gets battered down and has to pull herself back up again, and it's not always as easy as it sounds. And I loved it. I thought it was great. So this was 4.5 out of 5 stars. Finished Circe. I also read and finished today Lore Olympus Volume 2. This is a graphic novel love story between Hades and Persephone, and I just love the way this is done. It's very funny, it's very beautiful imagery. I like the fact that all of like the god family elements in there have their own colours and things. Like you've got different magic types have different colours. Like there's the whole colour scheme going on, and I really appreciate and enjoy the way that is done. I really like the humour and the way the characters interact with each other. I love the modern elements of this too, the fact that it is put into a modern world, and I really enjoy the kind of internal monologues we get from the characters. I think that really adds to the humour and just making it feel a little bit different to any other adaptation I've read before. So really enjoyed this one. I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. So I read both of those on sprints. One of the things I'm finding interesting is because I'm reading only Greek mythology books at the moment for this vlog, I'm seeing the different gods and goddesses and different characters within Greek mythology being represented in each of these stories with each of these authors taking a different stance on who they are and their characterizations. And that's really interesting because in this we have a lot more of a light-hearted look, and we have Hades being portrayed in a kind of underloved way. Like he's kind of wanting a bit more out of life and hasn't necessarily had a fair hand dealt to him, and doesn't want to be labelled the bad guy necessarily, and it's just kind of, we don't quite know why he's gone down that path, but we're trying to find out more about him, and he seems like a good guy and wants to do good things. Whereas the kind of picture we've got of Hades in Daughter of Darkness is a lot darker, and we have a lot more foreboding around that, and there isn't that humour that we've got in Lore Olympus, obviously. So it's interesting to kind of compare the two. Sorry if you can hear the car going past. And I think that's why I wanted to do a video like this, because I wanted to be able to see them all collectively comparing to each other, because obviously these are three incredibly different types of books, but all fantastic in their own right. It's been a very good week so far, or whatever, like the timeline of me filming this video. I don't even know when I started this. It's been a good time of reading Greek mythology books. The only book left on my TBR is to finish Daughter of Darkness. I have about 4 hours left in the audiobook, so I think I said I'm going to be going back to my family home tomorrow and coming back here on Monday, so it's Saturday at the moment. And I will listen in the car. I will also probably listen a little bit tonight whilst I do some drawing. I'm excited to finish that one as well because I'm really enjoying it. But yes, I am 2 books into my Greek mythology TBR. Hello, I am stopping by to wrap up this vlog with one final reading update. I have finished Daughter of Darkness by Elizabeth and Catherine Core, and I loved it. This retelling was definitely the darkest of the 3 that I read. At times I found it kind of funny to compare the way that Lore Olympus's journey to the underworld was compared to the characters in this book, because this book, a lot of this book is their journey to the underworld on the mission that they have been sent on. And there's a lot more hurdles in their way than the journey that Persephone takes to get to the underworld in Lore Olympus, for example. And I've really enjoyed that element of this reading vlog, being able to compare the way that all of these books talk about the similar myths. And I just thought this one was really, really brilliant. This one kept surprising me constantly. There were so many things that happened that I just thought was so well done. I thought the dynamic between the characters was really, really strong. And I think that this book just ticks every box for character development. I think that there was some really, really good strung out relationships that saw such good development throughout this book, and the way that the characters did become this team that they've kind of been pushed together to be, and I just really, really loved all of that. So I like this a lot. I think this is going to come out as a 4 to 4.5 stars. Really good audiobook for this one. Very, very good Greek mythology retelling. As I said at the start of this video, this has been working in promotion with Hotkey Books, so if you would like to pick up a copy of Daughter of Darkness, there is a link in the description down below. You can also find links down below to When Women Were Dragons, Waking the Witch, and Princess of Souls. Hello, it is Editing Beth. I just want to quickly drop by because I was just looking at what I've spoken about the ending for Daughter of Darkness, and I feel like I didn't really tap on how epic the ending was. I obviously don't want to give any spoilers, don't want to give anything away, but among with everything else I've said about this book, the ending was so epic and it had such a good build-up. I was like on the edge of my seat level of addicted to the ending and listening to that part of the story. And I just think if you like kind of high stakes, high action, high drama, literally could go in any direction, I think you'll love this book. And I just wanted to add that in because the ending was excellent. One other quick thing, one of the characters in this book is called Chryse, and every time her name was mentioned, I kept thinking of Chrissy Wake Up, the song from Stranger Things season 4, and it just kept playing around in my head. And then there was one specific scene where Chryse was asleep and they needed to get her to wake up, and they were saying, "Wake up, Chryse, wake up," and I was just like, this is too good. So I really, really appreciated that moment, given that that song was in my head every time Chryse came into a scene. Okay, so that is all the books I have put on my TBR for this video. I also do have a book to haul that I got today that I thought was kind of relevant to put in here, especially given the book that I have just finished. So Daughter of Darkness follows this group of people who have been selected by Orpheus to go and get Eurydice back from the underworld. So it's not like a direct Orpheus and Eurydice retelling, but it does certainly feature a lot of that story. And today I was out and I saw a book that is an Orpheus and Eurydice retelling, so I thought that would be very topical to haul in this video. So that book is The Giant Dark by Savat Hassin. This cover is really fun, but the way that this is done as a retelling sounds so interesting, so I'm just going to read you the blurb just before I wrap up this video. Ada is the defining rock star of her age, her every move observed, examined and owned by a devoted cultish fan base. When she disappears without a trace into a complicated love affair, her fans are determined to find her, uncover her truths, and own her once more. Away from the spotlight, Ada and Isan reconnect after a decade apart, hoping to recapture the innocent lost love of their youth. Before long, their connection is strained by secrets and jealousies, and the past begins to blur with their present as they follow in the footsteps of tragic, mythic lovers before them. It just sounds really interesting. I thought it sounded a bit different. Cover looked really fun and appealing, and I just thought it would fit really well into a little haul for this video as well, given what I've been reading this week. I want to read more mythology retellings, so yes, this one is inspired by the story of Orpheus and Eurydice. Okay, that is it for this video. I really hope you have enjoyed watching this. It's been a video I've wanted to film for ages, so I'm really pleased I have finally been able to film this. I'm so pleased with the books I've read this week. It was a really good selection of books, so I really hope you enjoyed watching. If you did enjoy this video, please do give it a thumbs up. Comment down below if you have any more videos like this you'd like to see, like recommendations for me, or if you've got any more Greek mythology retellings you think I would like, let me know in the comments. You can also subscribe to see more of my face on your feed, and below you can find a link to my digital shop where I sell Lightroom presets and Instagram story highlight covers. You can also find a link down below to my Patreon where I do regular live shows, extra content, podcasts, things like that. Thank you so much for watching, keep smiling and stay positive.